William Kurelek was one of Canada's most idiosyncratic artists of the 20th century. His work remains both critically acclaimed and popular, although Kurelek resisted ideas of artistic exceptionalism and genius. He was born east of Edmonton in 1927, into a family with roots tracing back to Western Ukraine. His parents had their first 3 children, including William, in Alberta before the family relocated to a dairy farm north of Winnipeg. Kurelek went on to study at the University of Manitoba before enrolling at the Ontario College of Art in Toronto. Restless and unsatisfied, he soon left the OCA and began traveling, eventually sailing to England, where he remained for nearly a decade. His time in London was deeply formative. Kurelek underwent psychiatric treatments, converted to Roman Catholicism, and worked at one of England's best framing workshops, F.A. Pollock Limited. Back in Toronto in 1959, virtually unknown, Kurelek's star began its meteoric rise. He received his first solo exhibition in 1960 at the important Isaacs Gallery. His paintings were soon acquired by major institutions, including the National Gallery of Canada, Art Gallery of Ontario, and the Museum of Modern Art. He was also hired as a framer at Isaacs. According to fellow framer Emmett Maddox, Kurelek went on to become one of the top gilders in Canada. He began custom framing his own work as well, introducing colorful Ukrainian folk designs, salvaged barnboard, and integrating images and details echoed in his paintings. Although his formal employment at Isaacs ended in 1970, Kurelek continued to use the workshop to make his own frames throughout the decade until his death in 1977. The Isaacs Gallery Workshop is a 1973 ink drawing once owned by gallerist Avrom Isaacs that is now in the permanent collection of the Art Gallery of Ontario. The scene includes 3 workshop employees, Kurelek himself, seasoned cabinet maker Stan Beecham, and the young upstart framer Brian Dedora. Dedora, who apprenticed with Kurelek for 6 years beginning in 1970, went on to become a master gilder and remained in the trade for nearly 40 years. In 1976, Kurelek completed Brian in the Old Workshop, a cropped version of the AGO drawing. It focuses solely on Dedora, bent over, cutting glass in the workshop. Writing with his insider's perspective in 2011, Dedora orients the viewer in the space and to the workshop's culture, saying, "The finishing room is behind the viewer. Above the entrance to the fitting room, Kurelek painted Edgar Allan Poe's famous bird who continually responded, 'Nevermore,' in the poem The Raven. Stan Beecham, being British, referred to our workrooms as ends. Hence, the raven is at the entrance to the fitting end." Kurelek gifted this drawing to Brian Dedora in 1976, and now Cowley Abbott is honored to be entrusted with this personal and enlightening artwork. Join us on June 15th at 7 p.m. when this Kurelek drawing will be offered in our major spring auction.